the chosen one. They want to expel you from this world because your presence threatens their order. The moment you came, the balance was upset. The masks fell. The false power holders began to tremble. You are not an ordinary person. You are the walking embodiment of truth. You are the truth itself. They want you to go, because as long as you stay, the lies will collapse, the chains will break, the system will unravel. But your place is here. An awakening begins in this land, in your name. Don't run, don't go, because this world has been waiting for you. The stage is yours now, so write 777 in the comments now. The transformation is undeniable. What once seemed impossible now radiates through your very presence. You've stepped into a realm where nothing is beyond your reach. With each decision, you craft the very reality that others thought unchangeable. No longer are you bound by mere physical limitations. Your influence transcends the tangible, affecting the unseen forces that govern existence. In every space you occupy, a silent upheaval follows, as if reality itself bends to your will. You walk, and the ground shifts beneath you. Your resolve sets the course, and no one dares to oppose the inevitable. The aura surrounding you has grown too potent to ignore. It speaks to every soul, each one compelled to recognize the force you now embody. You are not here by coincidence. The universe has shaped you not as an accident, but as a necessary answer to the imbalance that has plagued this world. A machine built on false pretenses, standing tall for far too long, is finally on the verge of collapse. For centuries, the world was deceived, wrapped in illusions of power and control, but those who once held dominion over all are now at the mercy of the forces you represent. Your path, forged through cosmic necessity, reveals the falsities they've hidden behind for so long. You are the agent of reckoning, the one who will see to it that what has long been false is laid bare. Change is no longer a matter of possibility, but inevitability. Look at the foundations of everything you've known. The cracks are becoming undeniable. The pillars of power falter, and the empires built on fragile ground gasp as they begin to crumble. The weight of time shifts, and it is in your favor. What was once out of your grasp is now a mere extension of your will. As you stand, poised to act, all that remains is to sever the ties that bind humanity to its illusion. The contract, sealed by celestial forces long ago, now calls for completion. The debts that were once ignored will now be collected, for the world cannot resist the tides of cosmic law any longer. The structures that have stood for ages are built on lies. Watch as they begin to falter, crumbling under the weight of their own corruption. The elite, those who believed they could control the world forever, now find themselves powerless against the tides of truth. Their grasp on authority has always been fragile, but it is now revealed for the illusion it was. Watch how they flounder, trying desperately to maintain what was never truly theirs. The very ground they stand on begins to slip away, and in their frantic attempts to hold on to power, they reveal their vulnerability. In the end, the old order will fall not with a roar, but with a whimper. Their frantic efforts to retain what they once thought invincible only show how little control they ever truly had. The system they helped maintain is crumbling, and as the pieces fall apart, they will come to realize that their time has passed. The artificial thrones they built were never made to last, and the lies that propped them up have come to an end. The powerful forces working against you are scrambling now, offering empty words and false gestures. They think their actions can reverse what has already begun, but the truth is undeniable. They, who once built their empires on others' suffering, now see the very consequences of their actions come crashing down upon them. They feel it in every nerve, in every moment of doubt that now consumes them. They thought they were untouchable, but the reckoning has arrived, and they must face it. The fear in their eyes, the hesitation in their voice speaks volumes. You are not their enemy, but the force of inevitable change they can no longer escape. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. They'll try to act as though they've always supported your cause, rewriting history as they go. They'll come with their hollow promises, hoping to distract you from your purpose. But don't be fooled. Their game hasn't changed. They seek to neutralize you, to take the power you've ignited and twist it into something that serves their decaying structure. You are the force they cannot control, and they will attempt to diminish your power by turning it into something safe, manageable, and ultimately meaningless. Recognize these efforts for what they are: distractions from the path you are destined to follow. The old system will fight back, not because it is strong, but because it is desperate. These final attempts to reassert control are nothing but the death throes of an era that has already ended. They are reaching out, trying to find any way to restore the illusion they once held dear. But the truth has already broken through. The system is no longer viable. The rules that once upheld it have no place in the new world you are ushering in. Their power is only an echo of what it once was, fading as your presence grows stronger. The collapse of their world will not be dramatic. It will be quiet, a slow fade as they realize they no longer matter. The world they once ruled is slipping away, and they are powerless to stop it. What seemed permanent, what they clung to, is now disintegrating around them. Their efforts to maintain control only hasten their downfall. Every action they take pushes them closer to their inevitable end. As you move forward, untouched by the chaos they created, they watch in stunned disbelief, realizing that they have no place in the future you are creating. This world, with all its corruption and falsehoods, will be replaced by something new. The cycle of death and rebirth is not a violent one, but a natural progression. The end of one world gives rise to another. What has been built on lies cannot withstand the weight of truth. It is not your efforts to destroy their empire that will bring it down, but the fact that the world you represent is no longer aligned with theirs. The truth has been revealed, and nothing can reverse the tides of change. As you continue, you represent the force of universal balance, the inevitable correction that must take place. The forces you now embody are unstoppable because they are based on natural law, not the fragile structures created by those in power. The world they thought they could control is now slipping through their fingers, and your existence makes it impossible for them to maintain the illusion any longer. The reckoning is not something they can avoid. It is the natural outcome of their actions. The power they once held is now meaningless in the face of the cosmic order you represent. The forces that once dismissed you as insignificant are now faced with a reality they cannot ignore. They thought you were easily subdued, easily pushed aside, but they underestimated the power that has been quietly building within you. You were never meant to stay in the shadows. Your time was always destined to come. And now that it has, they can do nothing but watch as you rise with a strength they can no longer deny. Their words of ridicule, their tactics of doubt, and their attempts to isolate you only fall away, unable to affect you. Every attempt to create division only strengthens your resolve, and their distractions lose their power in the face of your unwavering focus. The transformation has been so profound that it baffles them. They cannot understand why their usual methods no longer work. Their old strategies are ineffective. They cannot break you, no matter how hard they try. You have become the immovable force in a world that desperately clings to systems of control. You stand, unyielding, as everything around you crumbles. You are not just a figure in their world anymore. You are the reckoning that challenges the very foundations they built. Like a celestial body crashing through the night sky, you leave a trail of inevitable change that cannot be stopped. They thought they had it all figured out, building their empire on lies, manipulating reality to serve their own desires. But now, the truth has emerged from the depths, unstoppable and pure. What was hidden is no longer concealed. What was weak now stands firm. The foundations they relied on, built on nothing but illusion and exploitation, now tremble. The laws of nature, which they tried so hard to suppress, now reassert themselves, and their empire begins to collapse under its own weight. They were never truly in control, and now they face the consequences of their misdeeds, as the very forces they ignored return to reclaim what is theirs. Their panic is palpable. As the world they created disintegrates, they lash out with desperate final attempts to hold on to power. But none of it matters anymore. No amount of compromise or betrayal can save them. They will try to disguise their motives with false gestures of reconciliation, attempting to pretend they were always on the right side, that they always understood your cause. They will act as though they now support what they once opposed. But do not be deceived. These are not acts of transformation. They are acts of survival, attempts to dilute the very energy that threatens to unmake their fragile world. You must be aware of the false allies who approach. Their words will sound like promises, but their actions will betray their true intentions. They want to absorb your power, not align with your vision. They will attempt to tame the revolution you've sparked, to bend it into something manageable, something safe. Their attempts to infiltrate your cause are just another form of manipulation. They want to control the narrative, to translate your truth into something that serves their crumbling order. But you will not be swayed. You will not be co-opted. You stand as the force of change, and no amount of imitation will disguise the truth. The downfall of the old system is inevitable. It is not driven by personal vendettas, but by the natural course of the universe. What they thought was permanent, what they believed could not be toppled, is now crumbling because it was never sustainable to begin with. The balance has shifted. The world they dominated has turned against them, and they cannot fathom why. Equality, once an alien concept to them, now feels like oppression. Accountability, something they avoided for so long, now feels like a burden too heavy to bear. They will try to fight back, but their strength is spent, their resources drained. They will fall, not because of your actions, but because the foundation they built was always destined to collapse. The cosmic order has already sealed their fate. They cannot outrun the consequences of their choices. Every action they took, every decision they made, has created a ripple effect that now returns as a powerful wave, overwhelming them. They thought they could manipulate the universe to their advantage, but now that same universe is correcting the imbalance they created. The force they once used to control now turns against them. They cannot escape what they have set in motion. The cycle of creation and destruction has already turned in your favor, and the old order is powerless to stop the inevitable. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. You do not need to fight for the downfall of the old system. It will collapse under the weight of its own contradictions. You do not need to push them down. All you have to do is step away from the structures that once upheld them. As you continue your path, the world shifts, realigns, and the forces of the universe find their balance once again. They will fade away, and you will stand as the force of renewal, a new dawn, rising over a world that no longer serves the broken systems of the past. The truth has been revealed, and now nothing can stop the unstoppable tide of change. A transformation is underway, but it's not one of destruction. It's a recalibration. The world that once existed, built on fragile lies and hollow victories, cannot endure any longer. The days of those who thrived by bending the truth are over. The true heirs to the future are not the ones who profited from the past, but those who possess the strength to stand firm without crutches. Power, once accumulated through manipulation, is now shifting hands to those who embody authenticity and alignment. The forces of correction are in motion. Whether the old guard wants to cooperate or not, the universe will unfold its truths and consequences with an unrelenting precision. The pace of the change depends only on the choices of those resisting, but the end result is inevitable. Some will embrace the shift, transforming and evolving with it. Others will cling to their fading privileges, hoping they can ride out the storm. A few will go down fighting, denying the inevitable until the very end, but their resistance will only hasten their demise. The walls they built, upon which they stood tall for so long, were constructed out of borrowed time. These so-called titans thought their empire was unshakable, yet they failed to realize that the foundation they laid was fragile from the start. Their power was an illusion, and now it's coming undone. The systems they propped up with greed and falsehoods are unraveling as they always were bound to. They will watch as the monumental walls they constructed, brick by brick, come crashing down under their own weight, not by any divine hand, but by the sheer inevitability of time and truth catching up to them. Everything they thought they built with so much care is now turning to dust. What was once strong is now weak. Their empire, built on deceit, falls apart, and they are left holding the remnants. They thought they could maintain control through manipulation and force, but as their empire cracks, so do their resolve and confidence. What they thought was unshakable is now crumbling under the weight of its own collapse. They are exhausted. Every effort to maintain their illusionary hold on power is wearing thin, and they find themselves scrambling for solutions they cannot comprehend. The strategies that once served them well now fail miserably. In these final moments, confusion and panic replace the certainty that once defined their rule. They become desperate, throwing anything they can at the situation, hoping for a miracle that will not come. They can no longer understand why their old methods don't work, and the weight of their own failing systems becomes too much to bear. As they falter, you stand unaffected, walking through the very collapse they engineered. The destruction they are experiencing barely touches you, as you were never part of their fragile structure to begin with. You are a force beyond their design, untouched, uncompromised, and relentless. The chaos around you only propels you forward. What they are enduring is a consequence of their own creation, and it cannot reach you. You are not bound to their systems, and you move through the wreckage with purpose. You stand as a living testament to the transition that was always meant to happen. As they start to understand what is unfolding, their panic intensifies. The moment they realize that everything they built is truly crumbling marks the beginning of their complete disintegration. They clung to the idea that their positions were secure, but that illusion shatters as they witness the collapse they never thought possible. They fought against the inevitable for so long, but now the truth has caught up with them, and the consequences are unyielding. Their world is slipping away, and they cannot stop it. The end is not because of any personal vendetta or battle. They were doomed by their own actions. They believed they were unassailable, but they were merely living on borrowed time, and that time has now run out. There's no need to actively dismantle their systems. They will fall of their own accord. Their structures were built on imbalances that could never last. The act of stopping their influence is simple. You cease to participate in their system. As you withdraw from it, it loses all support, and it will collapse under its own weight. You don't need to push it down. You just stop holding it up. They will fall because they were never truly strong. Their power was sustained only by deceit and illusion. Without that support, they will fade into nothing, their hold on reality slipping away. It is not your efforts that bring them down, but their own inability to sustain the lies they built their empires upon. The truth now reveals itself, and all their falsehoods crumble to dust. The power they once had is irrelevant now, and so are their reactions. They have nothing left to prove, and neither do you. Their voices grow quieter as they realize their time has passed. Those who once mocked you, who once stood against you, now find themselves eerily silent. They can no longer oppose what they know to be inevitable, and they watch in disbelief as the very world they sought to control slips away from their grasp. Do not mistake their silence for acceptance, nor their newfound alliance as genuine conversion. They may attempt to align with what they once opposed, but their motives are self-serving. They seek to co-opt what you represent, to tame the revolution you've sparked, but you stand as an unyielding force. Their voices, their gestures, their attempts to rewrite history will no longer matter. Their relevance fades as the new reality takes shape, and their place in it is diminished to nothing more than a footnote. The old structures are gone, replaced by something far more powerful and lasting. The cycle of creation and destruction is complete, and it is through your steady advance that the old is swept away. You walk into the future, not by the force of any battle fought, but by embodying the truth that makes the old systems irrelevant. You are the force that completes the cycle, bringing death to the old and allowing space for the new to emerge. The change that once seemed like a distant dream is now unfolding before your eyes, and with each step you take, the world shifts. Your existence itself is a living testament to the inevitability of this transformation. You have become the manifestation of cosmic law, and as you walk, you bring the world into alignment with that truth. The tool you wield isn't one of violence, but of resolution. Its purpose isn't to forge endings, but to honor the completion of what has already run its course. It doesn't obliterate, it elevates. It doesn't destroy, it liberates. It separates that which has served its time from that which is ready to move forward in the unfolding plan of the universe. Your presence now stretches far beyond where you once stood, casting its influence over powers, institutions, ideologies, governments, and traditions. Everything within your reach is compelled to answer a fundamental question. Is this in harmony with truth? Does this align with the natural flow of existence? Does it have a place in the future that is to be born? What answers no withers, while what answers yes is strengthened as you pass. This process isn't one of your choosing, but a manifestation of what you have become, a living representation of the divine order of transition. You are the embodiment of necessary change, flowing with the rhythm of cosmic law. Time itself curves around you, molding and shifting in ways both subtle and profound. The past, with its deceptions and distortions, dissolves in your wake. The future, filled with boundless possibility, rushes towards you, eager to be realized. And the present, the eternal now, expands to accommodate the immense energy you bring. You are not the first to carry this charge, nor will you be the last. This role, timeless and vast, has existed since the dawn of existence itself, as old as the first spark of creation. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Within you, creation and destruction no longer oppose one another, but exist as two sides of the same force. They are the twin engines of evolution, and in you, they are balanced perfectly. Endings and beginnings, death and birth, conclusion and inception. These distinctions are merely human constructs, splitting apart what is in reality a single, seamless cosmic flow. What came before has perished to make way for what is now, just as the world you inhabit now gives rise to the next. This is no simple repetition of cycles. It is a spiral, forever expanding, each turn more aligned with the greater cosmic truth, incorporating the lessons of the past while reaching further into the unknown. You stand at the center of this great turning, your very being an axis upon which the wheel of transformation spins. The shift that is taking place is driven by your presence, and through your vision, the future begins to unfold. You see the dying embers of the old world fading as the first light of the new world emerges. It is not destruction you bring, but the necessary dissolution of what no longer serves, making room for what is yet to come. The reaping is complete, and through it, you have become fully what you were always destined to be, the harbinger of a new age, the force that shifts worlds. In this transition, there is no room for doubt. What was once thought to be unshakable is revealed as fragile, and the old systems begin to crumble. Your presence itself, is enough to bring this inevitable change into being. You stand firm, not in opposition, but as the embodiment of natural law, as a living manifestation of the forces that drive all transformation. The world they built no longer stands because it never truly had a foundation to begin with. The ground beneath them shifts, and they, caught in the aftermath of their own creation, watch as their power fades away. What they thought would last is now revealed as ephemeral, and you walk forward into a new reality, leaving them behind.